What up, everybody? Welcome to the Spectrum Podcast. It's your girl TG. This is my co-host James. James, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Excited to be here.
Yeah. So what we're going to be talking about is the Minnesota versus the Mississippi State game. We'll be breaking that down, and we'll be breaking down the Spurs, the Kings, who you got winning Game 3. We'll also be talking about trades and retirements that have gone on, and possibly unretirements that could be happening in the NFL sooner rather than later. So let's get down into it. So let's start off with the Minnesota versus Mississippi State college football game. James, what's your thought on this?
I think you got really two up and coming programs that are looking to put on a great battle once they go against each other. Uh, I think I like Minnesota. I like Minnesota coming into this new football season. Um, we were talking about a lot of powerhouse teams past couple of weeks to kind of get some credit and get some looks to a team that has been working growing the program for both Mississippi State and Minnesota. So I'm excited to see how they can match up against each other.
I am too. So let's start breaking down at least some of the stuff we do know about these teams, which is when it comes to Minnesota and Mississippi State, who would you give the quarterback advantage to?
Give me one second. Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
From a quarterback standpoint between Minnesota and Mississippi State, who I think I'm gonna have to give it to Minnesota. What do you think?
I would give it to Minnesota too because I do think they have a better quarterback. I know his name and I already forgot. God damn it! But I know how good he is and how good he was last year, and I'm not gonna lie. I think they are really in a great position as far as quarterback. Mississippi State's quarterback. Look, Mississippi State. I don't know what to expect from their quarterbacks. I really don't. Like their quarterbacks have not been good. I'm sorry. They've been terrible.
I gotta agree. I gotta agree with that one.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So
sorry.
it's like Minnesota gets the. So now that we could talk about it, like I think offensive line Minnesota easily gets the easy on that one because they've always had great offensive linemen from the beginning. If when it comes to offensive line, Minnesota undoubtedly is the advantage. Do you agree?
I think Minnesota has a really good line, especially um, against a team like Mississippi State, who I think relies more so on the running game. I think I think Minnesota does that very more. They're more adaptable compared to how Mississippi's line is. So yeah, I agree. I agree. Minnesota has a better line.
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes down to it, let's also talk about the other part of this. Their wide receivers and tight ends. Well, we can both together. Tight ends and wide receivers. Who do you think has the advantage in this?
You put me on the spot. Okay, let's break this down, guys. Let's.
I'm putting you on the spot because I think I know the answer for myself, but I want to hear you.
I'm just. I don't want to be like. Okay, I want to. Okay, so okay. Here's how I want to justify this. When you got a really good team, you got a really good team. Everybody is hitting the adjustments, doing everything correctly. When you have a really bad team, everybody stands out, but it's not how it should look. You ever been like the best player on a losing team, but you're good, but the
Hmm.
rest of the team hasn't caught up yet? I think
Yeah.
that's what Mississippi State is. Great players, but they just don't get enough of the recognition of being great players. I think because of the record itself, I think you got a great core of guys, but they're put in positions that make them not look as great as they are. Or
Hmm.
it's like they're not on television enough where you're like, oh yeah, this team's great. It's like from a wide receiver core standpoint, I think Minnesota has shown more that they're at least balanced of using the full focus of what they have. Mississippi State, I think they fall under the conversation of like, you got some really guys that spark out, but they just don't get enough of the spark that you're really gonna say, oh yeah, Mississippi's core of wide receivers and tight ends really make up that team.
Yeah, so let me tell you guys this. Minnesota has the advantage of both tight end and wide receiver, especially wide receiver. Now, whether people know this or not about PJ Fleck, he's a former wide receiver coach from a certain program. Guess which program he's a former wide receiver coach of?
What program?
Ohio State.
Oh well.
Yes. Whether y'all know it or not, yes. PJ Fleck used to be a wide receiver coach at Ohio State during the Jim Tressel era. And when he was coaching, it's when Brian Hartline was still here as a player, along with a couple other guys before Brian Hartline. Because Brian Hartline was like the fourth or fifth best receiver in the room, but still got a lot of playing time because of how good he was. Even though he wasn't the most talented, he was super freaking good. PJ Fleck was part of that staff. So when he went off to become a head coach, he obviously started in the G5, worked his way up, and now he's the head coach of Minnesota. I forget which year he was hired. I know it wasn't 2015. It might have been 20. It might have been later than 20. I would say 2016 was probably the year that PJ Fleck got hired, and he kept Minnesota in the middle tier of the Big Ten for the longest time. And from what I've seen of his receivers at Minnesota, unlike James Franklin at Penn State, his receivers are actually pretty dang good. The only thing that's really hurt their receivers has been quarterback play, and that's it. But I will say this: the recent quarterback they had actually did maximize the receivers a lot better than previous. And their receivers have always been close to 1,000 yards. They just never really got there because, again, quarterback play wasn't great. And they rely more on their run game because of the quarterback play not being so great. So when I look at Minnesota's wide receiving unit, I'm like, yeah, they have the advantage over Mississippi State. It's not because Mississippi State lacks talent. It's because there's better coaching among Minnesota, especially when it comes to receivers. Because, again, PJ Fleck coached at the wide receiver U school, so he knows how important it is to have great receivers or just good receivers. So if you ask me, they have the advantage there. Tight end, I also would say it's Minnesota just because of the coaching. Again, because he understands the importance of tight ends. And like you said about Mississippi State, the problem isn't the talent that they have. It's what I've said about SEC coaches. It's how they maximize that talent is how it matters.
Yeah.
And if they're not maximizing that talent, they're not going to win as many games. And this is why I think when it comes down to it on offense, Minnesota, like we could talk about the running backs. I ain't going to bring that up because we all know Minnesota has the advantage on that one. Running backs, they clearly have the advantage because they've had some of the best running backs coming out of the Big Ten before. So the coaching of what we see on offense is better than that of what we see with Mississippi State. And this would even lead to the question on defense as to who has the advantage across D-line, linebackers, and defensive backs. Now, James, I do want you to give your opinion who you think has the advantage on those three fronts.
From defense?
Yeah, from the defense, who you think has the advantage across on three: D-line, linebacker, and
All right, so let's talk about that. Oh, okay. I'm not trying to. I don't want to say Mississippi kid got a brown paper bag, but when you look at last season and the games they lost, a lot of them were not close losses. They were very big blowouts. Even the games I think they maybe won one game, maybe two last season.
I think they won 4, and it was because of the the crappy non-conference schedule.
Yeah. So in conference they were 1-7. They only won one game in their conference. The rest of the games they played were it was very badly blown out games.
And Lane Kiffin, you were talking about the bottom was better, and yet your team is blowing out, and yet Mississippi State is the craps, just like Purdue is. Just have to bring that up because Lane Kiffin decided to run his mouth.
Gotta let him know. From a defensive side, I hope that is improved. from Minnesota side, from Minnesota standpoint, I think they're balanced overall as a defensive unit. Where I think Mississippi had a lot of blown coverages, had a lot of like guys are not focused on exactly where they need to be on the field. That makes it difficult. We see it all the time. We know when a blowout is coming. You like some of it is you guys got a team that's a little bit better. It happens. I know that for a fact. But a lot of it also is going against those teams that are more equipped that you feel like.
Hmm.
What are you doing to make them feel less equipped? We all watch film practice. We all go to the film room. So you know what they're setting up to. You know what they're doing. But it's harder to stop it full speed compared to you saying, "Oh, I know that you're going in this coverage and I know that he's going to be the guy you're looking for. So let me cut that off." But it's harder when that guy knows how to explosively get open to make that route work. I think Mississippi has to learn to be there's a word I'm looking for and it's gonna exactly describe what I need them to do. Um
Is it efficiency or something of the sort like that?
it's efficient. Oh, it's yes, but also I need them to understand. Oh, goodness gracious. It's gonna
Like
come to
it's
me.
like
The
you
word
need
is lit. It's going to come to me. I'm gonna explain what I'm saying. I need their defense to not bait and to not rush into things when they can let something develop where you can have better control with it. I think what we get a lot with these young defenses are they're always looking for the big play. The big
yeah.
hit, something like that. They're always looking for that big moment to get on the TV screen when wrap up football is so important. Wrap up football is really important because it slows down momentum. Forget a big hit. You just want to get the stop. You
Yeah.
just need to stop that those yards from getting acquainted to. That's how you can win. I just need them to get more balanced, get more grounded in their defensive attack. From Minnesota side, they have a really good line. We've seen it. They have a really
Yeah.
good line. They have a really good line. The secondary is okay. I'm not gonna say the secondary is great. I think the secondary understands more of just lowering opportunities.
Mhm.
That's where Minnesota beats Mississippi State at. But Mississippi State can get there if they learn how to slow themselves down. Let some of these plays see the bigger picture.
That's what I would say. I'll tell you this. Defensive back, Minnesota has the advantage because they've always had great defensive backs. I mean, Antoine Winfield Jr. is one of their highest paid defensive backs in the NFL. So, like, you already
Yeah,
know, and that's higher paid than most DBs coming out of Ohio State, Bama, Georgia. Like, literally, he's higher paid than all of them. And all their defensive backs, actually, in the NFL, are really freaking good. So, from what we've seen in Minnesota, they've always been great at defensive back, especially since PJ Fleck got there. Like, they've been got
yeah,
even better. D line, we all know they have the advantage there because we see Minnesota's D line and how good they are. Like it's not even shocking. With Mississippi State, it's like I question their D line to the
yeah.
fullest. And linebacker, I would say it's Minnesota again. Like I think all around they have a bigger advantage than Mississippi State. And again, I give that credit more so to coaching because it's not
Yeah,
like Mississippi State doesn't have talent. Like they have
yeah.
it down there in the South. It's
Right.
there. It's
That's
like they
the
got the talent.
that's
It's
what I'm looking at. It's like Mississippi can be that team. I think that it's
coached
blown.
poorly.
Yeah, it's just blown things that they should be on the same page of, and it's like that comes from a coaching. That comes from exactly from coaching.
Yeah, that's basically the whole problem. So when we think about it, um, we would basically have to look at Mississippi State and say, look, from a talent advantage, you are actually better than Minnesota because Minnesota doesn't really get their hands on that quality talent. But on the field, the advantage is clearly Minnesota because of the fact that they develop their players, get the most out of their players, and are better at coaching. And from what I would understand about Mississippi State, given the NIL, you're not really having that kind of quality of talent anymore, just strictly staying in the South. Like, I've seen Minnesota go into the portal for guys as well, which
Yeah.
helps out a lot for them. So it's like when I look at it, Minnesota across the board is the best team. And even in special teams, it's not even a discussion that they're better. So it's like, I would say for Mississippi State, they hope to win this game. First of all, Minnesota will have to make a bunch of mistakes, which is possible, but that is what's going to have to happen. Or they're going to have to outcoach Minnesota's coaches, which I don't see them doing that. I don't.
Yeah.
I generally don't.
I can agree with you on that. I would, you know, I was just having a conversation and with one of my friends, and they were like, "So why do coaches kind of always get like the first ones to be blamed when something goes wrong, or like let's say they're a playoff team, like why do they still find themselves fired?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we everybody can be a playoff team." And you see that in college, especially if we want to change the whole football uh, concept of the playoffs. You can make the team as a 24. Does
Hmm.
that mean you're going to win as a 24?
No.
So coaches coaches get the hot seat because of the fact you can be a playoff team. We like Philly used to always be a playoff team. Alabama used to always be in the playoffs. That don't mean that they were necessarily going to win every single time, but they used to be in the playoffs most of the time when the college football started to count playoff rankings. Clemson was another great team that used to be in the playoffs, but it didn't mean that they were going to win. It just meant that they were a good enough team to always have themselves in the hat. You
Yeah.
don't Now you can look at a past coach's history and that can determine what you believe that he's going to bring to your football program, and that can make a difference. Mississippi State right now is still trying to find their own identity as a team. Last year didn't help because it showed where they're struggling. Now, this season, if you can limit some of those struggles, you can have an advantage. Do I think you're going to beat Minnesota in this matchup? I don't think so.
Meaning.
But it could also leave you with some questions that can be answered that you know you need to work on and go back to the drawing board to figure out.
Yeah, no doubt. So yeah, no, that's the Mississippi Minnesota breakdown. I think we can both agree that Minnesota's the better team, especially because of the coaching quality, which is where they have the biggest advantage over Mississippi State. Now let's talk about the Spurs versus the Knicks finals game 3. Who you got for game 3, James?
Um, okay, I'm gonna say two things.
Mm-hmm.
So game two didn't leave me with confidence in the Spurs. This left me with again, they're a young team. I get it.
And it's
The Knicks,
impressive that a young team got to the finals.
right? To go into a hostile environment of New York City, to go into a hostile environment where the president of the United States is going to be there. He doesn't matter, but I'm just going to lay it all out. To go down 2-0, I think now is make or break. First, you have to win this game tomorrow. You have to. Because if you lose tomorrow and go down 3-0 and the next game on Wednesday is in a bigger Madison Square Garden environment, you're not going to win. You have to win tomorrow. Now you could have won last game if Victor didn't want to not have the spotlight on him. Now I'm going to be completely honest with you.
If he didn't choke.
Victor should not have gave that ball up to anybody in that moment. You are the leader of this team. You are the guy that they're going to put in the hands of the ball anyway. You take that ball up that court and you make a play right here, right now. You don't look for anybody else. The reason Cassell wasn't focused on you is because it wasn't his time. He knew it wasn't on me. So tomorrow has to be Victor's breakout game. It has to be when he can understand that I am in charge. I am involved. I am the reason that we can win this game tomorrow. And if you could put a lid on Jalen Brunson, put a lid on Jalen Brunson. Even though it's gonna be hard, I'm not gonna lie. Game one looked a little frisk for Jalen Brunson, but Jalen got us together. He's a fourth quarter guy. He's good when it comes down to the clutch moments. Game two, Jalen did exactly that. You found a new way to guard him, but Jalen being Jalen Brunson, he found a way to make that not work for you. You want other guys to beat. You want other guys to beat you. He's okay putting the ball in other people's hands because he knows at some point it's going to get back to him. The Spurs have one thing they can do incredibly good. They have to start off strong. I think when the Spurs get on a run early, they can win this game. But if you leave New York, if you let New York stay in this game, if you let New York create and do what they need to do, you're not going to win. And we will be putting a Jalen Brunson statue outside of Madison Square Garden. The Statue of Liberty will probably be changed to Brunson Liberty, and it's going to be a whole thing. It's going to be a whole ride. It's going to be a whole ride. I think your mic's muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was. I'm sorry. I said the New York fans are going to be so insufferable when that happens. They are.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be so insufferable. They are already starting right now. But
I think Brunson is on his Hall of Fame journey. Yes, guys.
yeah,
For me personally, if Jalen Brunson can win in the NBA Finals, can win Finals MVP because it's going to go to him, I think that puts him in a Hall of Fame discussion. Well, first, you already know he's a Knick. He's the greatest Knick of all time. He's the greatest.
Right. Oh, absolutely. He will go down as the greatest. If he wins the NBA title and wins the finals, he will go down as the greatest Knick player of all time.
Walt Frazier, love you, Walt. I love you, Walt. Patrick Ewing, love you. John Starks, love you. Jalen Brunson, the 6'2" guard that came in, that left Dallas on a big contract deal, was told that he's not the savior. We wanted Donovan Mitchell. We wanted all these other guys to come to New York. We didn't want him. Has proven and shown that he is the exact person you needed to bring you guys to a championship. So if the Spurs can leave game 3 with a win, that puts you guys back in the driver's seat for game 4. But if you let Jalen go off tomorrow, if you let Jalen be Jalen Brunson, you are not leaving that game. You are not leaving New York with an opportunity to go back to San Antonio. Your season ends in New York City. Your season ends with the side talk outside talking about F. Trae Young and Victor Wembanyama. That's how this ends for you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
That's how this ends.
Absolutely. If you let me be real when I say this. Like, I know for a fact, like, you got Walt Clyde, you got freaking Patrick Ewing. Them guys are some of the greatest Knicks. But bruh, they didn't win no NBA title for the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't. And trust me, we're saying this because Knicks fans will start calling Jalen Brunson the greatest of all time if they win.
Yes, no.
They will. They will call him the greatest of all time.
They already are.
They already are starting to call him the greatest just because they went to the freaking NBA Finals and they won 2 games. They really gonna go out of their way to really say there ain't nobody that's gonna rival Jalen Brunson in New York history because he did what no other Knicks could do. He brought them an NBA title. And that's why the Spurs need to win game 3 if they want any chance in this. They need to.
If Jalen doesn't go back to the finals and wins this one ring, he beats out everybody that is. And you know, Melo, still in everybody's mind, Melo is one of the greatest Knicks players because of the extent that he went for the Knicks when he came to New York. Brunson beats that. Brunson
Oh,
don't have to get another championship in his entire career, and he will be
the
known as
greatest of all time.
one of the
Greatest thing. Because
greatest.
that's all he has to do. Because look, because we talked about it. What Carmelo Anthony did for the Knicks, it's what did make him the greatest because he went hard for them. Jalen Brunson's going hard for them, and he's bringing them and he could bring them a championship and a Finals MVP home. So
and it
but
all
if I
and it all
yeah,
feels like a Cinderella story. Was raised in
it
New
do.
York. His dad played for the Knicks with Patrick Ewing. It all just feels like went to Villanova. Like it just all
Like it
feels
feels like it feels
like
like a documentary series
right.
about a whole story that's been played. Like, bro.
We got the Villanova Knicks, and like it just all feels too real. Like, and we saw this team last year, and they looked really good last year, and you couldn't beat that Pacers team. Tyrese was on a whole nother level, and I can't wait for Tyrese to actually come back to the NBA and get back on the grind. But this is the time. This is the time. OKC is at home. OKC is at home looking, waiting to see what happens next. But right now, this is the Knicks' time. The Spurs can still win this, but it has to come now. It has to come tomorrow. So that means you got to throw everything that you can at the fire. You gotta. This is where you leave everything on the line. You gotta leave everything on that court tomorrow. So I have the Spurs winning tomorrow if they can do those things.
Yeah.
Put their head down and just go to work.
That's all I would say is you need I would say the Spurs too, just because I believe that because they came close in the city of New York. You gotta give them that they kept it close and they almost won. But they have to win game 3, and they know this is a must win because otherwise it will end in New York if you don't. So I will pick the Spurs because I think this is a must win game for them.
It is.
Just like how I think and just how I think, like I said this could go 6-7 games because the Spurs and the Knicks are good teams. But the one thing that does work in the Knicks' advantage is the Spurs just went through a 7-game series, so you think that works in your advantage to the fullest, right?
And I want to give credit to Karl Anthony Towns. I did not expect to see Cat come out as strong as he is this playoff series. I said, listen, Cat is not one of those guys that plays defense all the time and gets to the basket. Karl has proved me wrong these finals. He has been
Mm-hmm.
strong. He has been absorbent. He has used his quickness and his ability. And I gotta get Cat credit. This is the Cat that I was hoping that Minnesota could have got years ago. So I'm happy to see it now that the Knicks need it. So
Yeah.
this Knicks team is balanced, man, and give all respect to Mike Brown as a coach. I give a lot of respect. I'm not saying that this is that I'm getting on the Knicks winning. I'm just saying you got to give credit where credit is due. I think Mitch Johnson is incredible coach. I think San Antonio wasn't supposed to be here. This is a team that they thought was going to be here the next couple of years. They
Yeah.
are way above schedule. They are way ahead of schedule.
Oh,
So
heck yeah.
they just have to think about now. You can't think about next season or are we going to get back here or can we do what we just did? Forget all that. You got to think about right now. And right
Yeah,
now,
no doubt.
you guys are still in this. You guys are still in this series. You got to come strong. You got to come. You guys got to score quickly. That's what the Spurs can do well, and that's how they can keep the momentum on them and keep it off the Knicks.
Yeah, no doubt. So, guys, now that we've gotten that out of the way, because I do think this is a must-win game for the Spurs, and I think they will win, and I think this will go 6-7 games. I hope it does anyway, because I think this would be disappointing if it don't. But we can move on to some NFL news because we have some big NFL news regarding first the retirement of Russell Wilson. What do you think? Because that news that came out, and I didn't know it until he had said something. So I want to know, James, how do you feel about that? Because I'm not gonna lie, with Russell Wilson, I think his time is due. I think it's time for him. I think it was time for him to retire, and I'm And I'm hope he does well as an analyst for what did you say he was going to be an analyst for?
He will be for NBC. So he's gonna be replacing. So NBC has went through. I sound like Adam Schefter. I just felt this. So he will be joining NBC. NBC Sports has gone through a lot of movement this past season. They fired a lot of guys. One of the greatest coaches of all time has been let go by NBC to make room for Mike Tomlin, and Mike Tomlin now will be joined by Russell Wilson. So they're going to be bringing a brand new sports analyst team to NBC. I think it's time. I think the more Russell Wilson was playing, it was hurting the legacy of Russell Wilson. No offense. So I think we've been looking for this for a couple of years now. I think Russell Wilson has done a lot for the NFL. He came in as one of those guys that had everything to prove and was able to bring his team to two Super Bowls. You win one, you lose another one to Tom Brady in the most interesting way possible. Um,
The most hilarious way, actually,
yeah,
because it's like
yeah.
Patrick Jones just completely tricked him.
But I think Russell Wilson's going to bring a lot to the game. I think he still loves the game. I think he still loves the game impeccably. Now, there were a lot of calls that Russell Wilson was receiving before he announced his retirement of still being a backup quarterback for somebody's team. But I think this was the better deal. I think this was the better option for Russell Wilson is to become an analyst, is to get out of football in that way of playing. And I don't think at some point, and I think at some point he will take on a manager, an office role like Matt Ryan has for the Atlanta Falcons, working for them, a part of their department. I think that we're going to see Russell Wilson take on one of those type of roles in Seattle or maybe in Denver or something like that because he's very well known of the game. So I don't see Russell Wilson ever being away from football too long.
Hmm.
So congratulations to him. I am really excited. I think he's had an incredible career. I think he is a Hall of Famer. I think Russell Wilson has had a Hall of Fame career. I don't think he's a first ballot, but I think at some point Russell Wilson will be in Dayton, Ohio, with a yellow jacket. I agree. I agree with that for sure.
He's undoubtedly a Hall of Famer. He is a legend among the sport, and regardless of how you feel about the man, he became one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Maybe not, top 10, maybe not top 15, but he is one of the greatest. So
He
at the end
is.
of the day, you got to give his credit. So, congratulations to Russell, and I hope he has a fantastic career as an analyst for NBC. Him and Mike Tomlin both. And I'm interested to see how Mike Tomlin's going to do. I'm not going to
Yeah,
lie. I really am.
I'm really am interested. First, NBC is taking on a tear. I think Sunday Night Football is going to look even better. Waiting all day for Sunday night, so I
Mhm.
think we're here for a treat when it comes to how that's going to look. I think Mike Tomlin brings a lot to this game. We know Mike Tomlin; he's an incredible coach. He knows his game left, right, back, and forward. And I really want to hear how he's going to look at Pittsburgh, especially now that it's official. Russell Wilson is officially said after the season he is retiring. So this is Russell Wilson's last hurrah in Pittsburgh. I think it's time on that accord. I don't think that Pittsburgh is going to be a playoff team this year, but it will be nice to just see Aaron throw a football one last time after waiting all the way until literally the first day of training camp.
Yeah, no
So
doubt. I can't wait. Like I said, it's good for Will Howard though, because at least you get to sit and learn behind one of the all-time
yeah,
greats. Him,
that,
him and Drew Allen.
this is all a learning perspective. This is all learning for everybody involved. So Will gets a chance to learn from a great like Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron gets to have his last hurrah with Mike McCarthy, who just keeps finding a job. Love that for him.
Yeah, and you guys make sure that when you come into the video, you guys can leave your comments in the live chat. Obviously, if you guys want to join in on discussions, give us your opinions on a lot of stuff. You're free to do that. Um, Now let's talk about the trades that have happened. And one of the trades that might have an effect on a NFL player unretiring, such as let's start with AJ Brown. Uh, him getting traded to the Patriots of all teams. What you think of this trade, James? This is
Now,
great for Drake May. I will tell you that now.
now I'm really about to sound like Adam Schefter right now. So, yes, AJ Brown has officially been traded to the New England Patriots. This trade has been talked about for months, and I mean months, the even way before free agency opened up. There was a talk that he was going to be traded to the Los Angeles Rams first for Devontae Adams and some picks, and then it was really, really talked about that he was going to be found himself in New England. And then the report came out that Philadelphia had no intention of even trading AJ Brown from Philadelphia. I think this is a good move for AJ Brown. I think he goes back with his home man, his main guy, Mike Vrabel, that he had very good success with when he was in Tennessee with Derrick
Yeah.
Henry. I think you get a young quarterback in Drake May, who at some point of last season was an MVP candidate. Um, I think he's in a good spot. I think he's in a great spot. Now, here's what I want to talk about. This also stirs from some things going on. So supposedly during the season, a couple years ago, when they had a really bad stint of losses, him and a teammate were arguing over a woman that was working at a massage. That was a massage therapist. The Deshaun Watson special 2.0. That also shows that the locker room was divided. This also it plays a part in I think the trade happening to New England. This also plays a part in who AJ Brown is as a player and as an individual. And also, I think Mike Sirianni was done with AJ Brown. I think we saw that in the divisional round last year when I think he's done. I think that their relationship and connection has dwindled. This also puts the number one receiver now that is in Philadelphia,
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith. This puts him in an incredible position. I think Devontae Smith has been biting his teeth of being the number one guy in Philadelphia, and I think AJ has shown that he can't always be that. Now, I understand what you're looking at, guys. I get it. I think that he doesn't solve all the problems happening in New England. I think they still have some defensive issues that still need to be looked at. I think they still need to
Yes.
look at their offensive line and some things happening there. But this also gives him a really big piece of someone that he needs in New England, and I think that's AJ Brown. When Tom Brady was winning championships, he was lucky enough to have guys like Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, Rob Gronkowski. This is I feel AJ Brown is that Danny Amendola. He is that Julian Edelman that Drake May needs to bring him over the top. Now, I love the wide receiver core from New England. It grows and grows and grows. Like Romeo Dobbs is going to be great for them. We saw him in Green Bay. I think that he fits everything together. So I'm excited to see where they go. But yes, I'm excited for New England. I think Philadelphia came out with a really good deal as well. I think it all works. So I'm excited to see where this all goes.
Right. Oh, guys, by the way, I just changed my background. Yes.
But so what do you think? Because when I heard it's been a lot of speculation, a lot of stuff has been going on of why AJ Brown is leaving, why AJ Brown was going, of where Philadelphia and their relationship was, and now that we're officially seeing it, him to New England. Where does this leave AJ Brown? What does he have to prove now that he's in New England?
I think for AJ Brown, honestly, I think he's already one of the best receivers there is. So, and he's won a Super Bowl, so I don't think there's much left for him to prove, other than the fact that he's not a locker room cancer. Like, because
Yeah.
that's always gonna be the first talking point is like, are you a locker room cancer? So, like, no, I think that's the only thing he would have to prove. Like, he's already one of the best receivers in the NFL. He's worth every penny. And like you said, going back to Mike Vrabel, I mean, think about it. Him and Mike Vrabel almost reached the Super Bowl together with the Tennessee Titans. I mean, for God's sakes, they were a great pair together.
Yeah.
So I think this is a great trade for AJ Brown and the New England Patriots, and even for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, you get Devontae Smith, who undoubtedly can be a number one. He's just been a number two for a while to AJ Brown because, well, it fit better that way, especially with him being a slot guy. So it worked in that regard. But he definitely could be a number one like JSN. I mean, JSN's a slot guy, and look at what he
Yeah,
did. So he
I
undoubtedly
agree.
could be the number one for sure. I am wanting to know though, because even though JSN was the number one guy, he had a number two. The question would be, who's going to be the number two to Devontae? Like, could it be the rookie Makai Lemon? I don't know. Like, he's a rookie. I got to see how well he does.
Yeah.
And look, I'll give you a Caesar's credit. You've had Drake London and Jordan Addison. Even though that's all you've had within these set of years, those two have been good. I'm interested to see if Makai Lemon could be like those two or like any other USC receiver I've seen come through there before. So we'll see how that works. But no, I really do believe that this is a great fit when it comes down to it for the Patriots, and again, the best possible action for them and for the Eagles because of the relationship frame between AJ Brown and the Eagles. So I think it was the best thing. So now we get to talk about the next one, which happens to be the biggest move made in the NFL that might lead to the Rams winning a freaking Super Bowl, which is Myles Garrett getting traded to the freaking Rams, and making them basically a freaking super team. Like, give me your thoughts on this, because I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Me hearing this about Cleveland trading him to the Rams was absolutely ridiculous. I'm like, oh no.
So let's kind of break this down. What I was told in the organization, of course, was the Rams had a really bad taste in their mouth after losing to Seattle. Um, that's why, they've been on a really good journey this season of trying to get guys to help Matthew Stafford and what is believed to be his last year on the Los Angeles Rams. You bring in a great quarterback like Trey McDuffie, who was an all-time Pro Bowler, and then you bring in another. I think I so you bring in Trey McDuffie, a great wide receiver. Now I understand that people were not very happy with the Ty Simpson being drafted with the number 10 pick. They really wanted a wide receiver. And I can understand that. Believe me, I can understand that because, here we are. But you got to think about the Rams from a future standpoint. They're thinking about their future. They're thinking about where they go from here.
Yeah,
Um,
which every
so
NFL team should do, honestly, because your quarterback's not gonna be there forever.
yeah, I I agree. I agree.
And
Um,
not to mention too, they also gave Matthew Stafford the respect and told him, listen, we're gonna drive Ty Simpson because we think he could be the future franchise quarterback when you retire. And we want you to teach him how to be a quarterback. Like, and Matthew Stafford had no problem with it. So as long as the Rams were respectful, I don't mind it. And not to mention, if Ty Simpson sits behind Matthew Stafford and learns and they continue to build this team, Ty Simpson's practically in the best possible place with to when he starts, he's pretty much in the best possible position a quarterback can ask for coming into the NFL, unlike most who come into really bad situations. At least you're with a competent franchise, with a competent, more than a competent, a legendary head coach. Let's just call it for what it is. Sean McVay's a legend.
hmm
So like at least you got that coming. So for people mad about the Ty Simpson thing, I'm like, guys, Ty Simpson is the more NFL franchise likely quarterback in this whole draft. I don't care what people say about Fernando. I think he's a great quarterback, but he's got a lot to work on before he can become that. Ty
Yeah.
Simpson, however, he is the more pro style quarterback of the bunch and the one that you can look at and say positively, he has the best potential to be a franchise quarterback out of everybody.
I
And yes,
agree.
he's had his faults in college. Like he only played 15 games and he had some inconsistencies. As I've told you guys, he can play quarterback. He can play at the NFL and still do everything correctly. He's just inconsistent because he wasn't in the best. Let's say it like this. Alabama did not have a great offensive line for
No.
starters. His number 2 wide receiver, for not even number 2, his number 1 actually wide receiver, Ryan Williams, forgot how to catch the
I
ball,
mean,
forgot to play football.
his
They
number,
had
his
no run
number,
game.
his number one wide receiver basically is high school. He's basically a high school football player, basically.
And
So
look, the guy had a historical freshman season, which is why people thought so highly of him. That's why people
historic.
thought so highly of him. So it's like when he forgot how to play football in his sophomore year, you're like, what's going on with you, Ryan Williams? Then, like I said, they had no run game. And their defense was not great either. And he somehow still managed to get them to the playoffs in spite of all that. And yes, he had his inconsistencies. Yes, he had some wildly inaccurate throws. But that's because he hasn't played enough football. And there's a lot of NFL teams, including and GMs, who I typically don't agree with because they're always trying to act like they're smarter than everybody else. Coaches as well. And everybody else was saying he can be a franchise quarterback. He just needs to play more football and he will get more consistent. And he just needs to learn a couple things and he'll be fine.
And I want to say this as well. You guys, I do want to say this from when the draft happened. A lot of GMs felt Ty Simpson was a better quarterback than Fernando Mendoza.
And he
And
was.
a lot of the workouts and a lot of they really did like Ty Simpson. So I think that this really is a great move for the Rams of getting a quarterback that can sit behind Matthew Stafford, who just came off an MVP season, and learn what he needs to learn and be available for next season. Now we put that in there. They also signed Jalen Watson, another great cornerback, in free
Yeah.
agency. You re-signed Sam Curl, who was an incredible safety, who made a really great interception catch during the Bears game when they played in the divisional round. To now add a guy. Now I first want to say this. Let's first back up. Now I first want to say before we get to exactly how the trade happened. We remember last year, Myles Garrett talked about he wanted to not be one of those guys that just was known in Canton, Ohio as a Hall of Famer. He wanted to win a Super Bowl. And he wanted to win championships. So he felt like he couldn't do that in Cleveland just to turn around and get a large amount of sum of money that felt like he only did that to get in a really big contract. And then breaks the record for the most sacks in an NFL season, which was incredible. Also coming off one of a Defensive Player of the Year. Incredible. Again, incredible.
Historical season.
Historical season. To now come here. Now, Cleveland opened up the floodgates. Teams called. They have really no intention. I believe one trade, Philadelphia did make a trade package for Myles Garrett that they rejected. But it would have involved Jalen Carter. It would have involved some picks. Like, I felt that it was more, from a business standpoint, I felt they were getting more back compared to what they got back in the Rams trade. Now, the Rams GM then comes out and he says it wasn't about what we were getting back. It was what we felt comfortable having and stuff like that. So from their standpoint, they really weren't looking at the package itself. They were looking at more so where this team is. I think that this proves to me Cleveland is not in a win now situation. They are in a rebuild situation. They are
They've
not.
always been. Like it's like you've had great defenses throughout your history. You somehow screw that up. Can't
You
even fix
had
the offense correctly. So now you're back in a rebuild situation because you can't seem to figure it out on offense. Like your defense isn't the problem. Your offense is. And I want to know how you gonna fix that. Now I will say this. You started by getting one of the Ohio State offensive linemen, what was his name? God dang it. I think it was DeJuan Jones. And you got running back Quinshon Junkins and another running back too. I forget what the name of the second guy, but he was a really good freaking running back in college. He's been good in the NFL too. So you fix those two, right? You got that correct. You still got to fix the offensive line because even though you got one good offensive lineman, the rest of the four need some work. And then wide receiver, you need some serious work on that.
Yeah.
And quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you even have a quarterback. Like I think there's a chance Shador could be a franchise quarterback for you, but until you build around the guy and actually give him a chance to succeed. I don't know that.
No,
So
now wait a minute. Hold on. Now hold on a second. Now let's just hold on 1 second. It's hey, you need a guy in Cleveland. You need a guy in Cleveland. It has to be him. It has to be him. You know,
been-
perfect timing. Perfect timing. Now listen. We are looking at a Pro Bowler in his first year. First year. Now that's also because a lot of people backed out. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders is the future of this league, and he's the future of this franchise. And you have to make sure that he is the future of this franchise. Now, you guys get a Jared Verse. He's a great defensive end. Incredible
Yes.
defensive end. And you saw that in LA. But he's not going to be Myles Garrett. And right
No.
now, he really does not want to be in Cleveland. So you're going to have to try to convince him first, hey, you're going to want to stay here. Now, you already got a lot of problems because right now it is a conversation that Deshaun Watson will be returning this season.
No, please, for God, no.
So now as a franchise, you have to now determine, is this the right time to keep Deshaun Watson? That is another conversation that has to be had. Also, I also want to acknowledge officially now that Myles Garrett. So what also played into this was that Cleveland adjusted his contract, where they weren't taking on a gigantic lump of money that they promised him, and that the next team that gets him will not be taking on that gigantic contract either. The Rams have now officially signed Myles Garrett to a revised 5-year, $204 million deal through the year 2030 that includes a $37.5 million signing bonus. Less money on LA, leaving money to sign other guys for next season if they need to. I think that this works so well for LA. LA for the past couple of years has been making some crazy things happen. The year before you get Luka Doncic to the Lakers. The year before that, you get Shohei Ohtani to the Los Angeles Dodgers. And now you get Myles Garrett, one of the best defensive ends in the league, back to LA, where he parties in LA every single offseason anyway. So he's so used to it. He's so used to it. And this is a guy, he has been excited to be in LA. We know Myles Garrett does not show up to offensive training camps. He does not show up to the OTAs. He does not show up to those film practices during the summer. He is showing up in LA. He is doing the drills. He is having a good time. He is laughing. He just threw out the first pitch in the Los Angeles Dodgers baseball game yesterday. He is enjoying his time in LA. He is enjoying what he is doing. He is enjoying the people he's around. He loves that he has a franchise quarterback in Matthew Stafford. He loves that he has a second wide receiver option in Puka Nacua. He loves where he is right now. He loves that he's getting a Hall of Fame caliber wide receiver in Devontae Adams. He's really in a great place right now. You are going to see Myles Garrett play incredibly different than Sean McVay's defense. He is going to have the time of his life. They're going to definitely do what they were doing to Aaron Donald. And Sean McVay knows how to work with that. He knows how to work with that.
Yep, and we're going to talk about Aaron Donald pretty soon. Because as a matter of fact, because when you say LA's making moves, the only thing that they're waiting on is if there are two college football teams in LA can actually make any moves in USC and UCLA. That's the only thing you got to be open is that they can. But speaking of Aaron Donald, as I mentioned, there's rumors because of the Myles Garrett trade. There's rumors he could be returning to the LA Rams for one more run. What you think about that, James? Now, if that does happen, I mean, for the NFL, pray to the Lord Jesus Christ, because man, y'all gonna be just terrifying everybody.
Aaron Donald comes back at 35 years old in the most incredible shape of his life. If you have it, and I know you guys see the Aaron Donald training videos he posts on YouTube. He breaks that loss. if I'm an offensive lineman, if I'm a quarterback going against Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald on the ones and twos, I'm
Praise to the Lord.
I'm taking off. I'm not working this Sunday. I am not your starting quarterback for you. Are you insane? The Rams have really answered a lot of questions that they had last season. And I saw a post and somebody said the Rams are doing all of this just to stop the Seahawks. No, 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 no. The Rams are doing this to stop everyone. The Rams are doing this not
Right.
to stop the Seahawks, not just to stop the Ravens, not just to stop the Eagles, not just to stop the Patriots. Everyone is put on notice.
Everyone, including like
Everyone is put on notice. Right.
everybody. If you get Aaron, bro, that's going for opposing quarterbacks. You gotta go up against Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett. If you're the opposite offensive lineman and quarterback, man, you're gonna be running for your life every day. It's gonna be just straight up terrifying every single snap. You're gonna want to run the opposite direction.
Justin Fields,
Seriously.
get ready. Get ready to run for your life.
I mean, he's been doing that. When you're saying Justin, I mean, he's been doing that his whole career since being a part of the offensive line. So, I mean, he's
it doesn't get better, and it doesn't get better in Kansas City. It stays the same.
It don't. I will say this with Kansas City. I will say they are trying to. I will say this. Their defense is always good. I will say last year they kind of fell off, but they've gotten better. Their offense, they have been working on fixing their offensive line. I mean, they got Joshua Simmons, who is the best left tackle they've had in a long time.
You bring in the Super Bowl winning running back and Kenneth Walker III.
Yeah, you bring him in.
You guys are now prepared for a run game and a line that can withstand what he can do on the field.
Yes, and that's actually the best part for Kansas City is you got to give them credit. They have been moving. Now, the only thing that has been the biggest pain in the butt to Kansas City. Now, first, you got to figure out who's going to be the replacement for Travis Kelce because Travis is going to retire at some point. Like,
Travis. I think that Travis is in his last official season as it.
So you're going to have to figure out who's going to replace him. You got to think about who's going to be that
backup
plan.
That's a big conversation. That is a big conversation.
Yeah, no, they got to figure out like who's going to fill in the shoes. Like, I don't know if anybody will ever fill in what Travis Kelce did for Kansas City. I mean, but you got to figure out who's got to be that guy to step up and figure it out as fast as you possibly can. But the other thing is your wide receiving core, because for as good as some of the players are, they're not number ones. You guys need a legitimate number one. And Rashee Rice getting arrested, it's like you can't bring him back. I get he's a good player, but you can't.
Yeah, I agree.
You just can't.
I agree.
Just can't. So like you need a legitimate number one if you're the if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, like you do. Like, receivers happen to be your problem right now. And like I said, figuring out who's going to be after Travis Kelce. Like, because...
Well, I also want to say, speaking of wide receivers, and we're talking about wide receiver cores, the New York Giants have been on a tear.
Yeah.
This is all, and we first want to announce, this is all to replace what Malik Nabers would have done if he was on the team this year. And then it's also some
conversation. Will he ever play football again?
There's a lot of conversation that Malik Nabers might not even be ready by next year to return to the New York Giants. So it's a lot, but they have made some moves. They have signed Odell Beckham Jr. on a veteran's minimum, of course, for a year. He's a big signing. They have also signed former Chiefs wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. Will be another backup wide receiver for them. And they will have also signed Drew Rosenhaus from the Texans, another big signing for the. They really went out. They really went out and got some wide receivers, Jackson Dart this year. They're making some moves. I don't know how this is going to look. I'm already getting videos and highlights saying, "Look how Beckham was running these routes," and I'm like. I'm
gonna say this. I think Beckham is still great at running routes. The problem is he's like past this. Like obviously we talked about it. Like he only had 4 years at the peak of his prime, and then after that he wasn't as great in his first 4 years. But he's still good, and he's older now and more injury prone. So that has been a problem with him lately. So I mean I know that Beckham's good at running routes, but I want to see if he can stay healthy for a season and if he can still contribute to a football team, which I think he can because he's been doing it for a while, but it's just
Yeah,
You got to
I
question that.
agree. Brandon Ayuk is another one that's been in the news of as of late, especially after the incident happening last year where he was speeding through Levi Stadium at 100 miles per hour. But it's been a lot of conversation. It looks like he wants to go to Washington and join the Commanders. That is his next team.
With Jaden Daniels, Debo Samuel, and Terry McLaurin. My God.
Yeah. So
And look,
that
I
looks
know
like that's
Debo's
where he
not the
wants to
same
go.
as what he used to be, but man, Debo's still good. Terry, Scary Terry is still going to be the best, one of the best wide receivers in all of the NFL. He's still going to be one of the best.
Yeah.
And then you got Brandon Ayuk, who's still in his prime, still really good. Man, it's going to be the number 2. Like, that's going to be a scary trio in and of itself. And Jaden
Yes.
Daniels, you actually get some extra help. Especially since losing Dotson, who was his number 2 with Terry, which I would never understand why the Commanders traded Dotson. I would never understand that.
Yeah. Also, Tampa. Pay Baker Mayfield. Pay
Right.
Baker Mayfield. I get it. But you guys need to pay him. You guys need to pay him. He has been the best quarterback you guys have gotten since Tom Brady.
Right. He
You need
is
to
the
pay
best
him.
quarterback.
You
Y'all
lost Mike
gotta pay him.
Evans. You lost Mike Evans to San Francisco. You know, you gotta pay him. You don't want to lose Antoine Winfield because he might be next.
You don't. You
So-
don't. And he's the best defensive back on y'all team right now. Like, don't lose him.
So you guys need to pay your quarterback. You guys need to pay him. Pay the man. Pay him. Seriously, you do not want him to go to another team right now. Also, I want to talk. Okay, so I also want to acknowledge this for people that don't know, and this is a very interesting thing that I think Cleveland was very smart of doing. So Cleveland had also in the Cleveland trade to the Browns, LA gave up a second round pick. I think they also gave up a first round pick to
Yeah.
in 2029. What the Browns did that I thought was very funny and very smart. The Browns stated that second round pick can become a first round pick if you trade to anybody in our AFC North division. So if you try to move Myles Garrett again to Baltimore, to the Bengals, or to the Steelers, that second round pick becomes a first round pick to limit you trying to trade him to one of our division rivals. I think that is the funniest, smartest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, yeah, you can trade him anywhere else, but you better not trade him back to our division. I'm not running against Myles Garrett every single week.
That
Forget
is the single smartest thing the Cleveland Browns have ever done, and that should tell you everything right there. Like, they
Right.
actually did something so smart.
Yeah.
Funny, just smart. Man,
that was smart. I thought when I read that, I was like, oh yeah, nah, that was a smart thinking, great thinking. Now
Yeah.
he's your problem. you
Right.
want to trade him? You got to trade him to somebody in your division. I also want to get. I got to get.
Or trade him
your-
anywhere else, but you're not trading him back to the AFC
Fine,
North.
you're not trading him to our. We're not going against him every single Sunday. No,
No.
never that. I also got to ask. It has been, as we all know, the board of voters voted today to not today, but they voted on Thursday to officially go through with building a stadium in Indiana for the Bears. I got to know your thoughts. I have to know, being in Chicago, are you taking that trip to Hammond, Indiana every single Sunday?
No. And I never will. First of all, I like the Bears when they adjust, and they made me hate them ever since. I don't care where they go. But it's like I said, it's the consequences of Chicago raising their taxes. So, like, unless they lower their damn taxes, like, nah, the Bears are leaving, and they made this so clear. But I would say this for Indiana. You got to wait, because if Chicago does lower the taxes, you still go through building this stadium, it's gonna be a problem for you. It really is. Now, maybe you can use that stadium in a sense to, I don't know, maybe have a UFL team, but like I wouldn't go through with it fully unless you know the Bear, because you never know what can happen. A bunch of stuff can happen that leads to that not happening. So, but like I said, I don't care if they leave or not. I don't. And like I said, for Chicago, if you want them to stay, bring your damn taxes down.
I feel like this all can be avoided. Like, I feel like we don't have to do any of this.
We
I
don't.
first believe from the Soldier Field aspect, I understand that it's an historical landmark, and I get that the park district doesn't want that to be messed with or interfered with. But you have to understand something. I don't want to rent out a stadium and pay you guys to live somewhere. And seeing all the publicity that we made, like the playoffs that we just had last year, we had an incredible run. We had people want to come to Bears games again.
I'll say this. Yes, they do right now. And I will say this for Chicago. They will say, okay, you did go there this time. How much longer until you screw it up? Because with the Bears, it's a good chance, especially because Caleb Williams is a terrible quarterback. And the only way you're going to make it again is if teams like what happened with the Green Bay Packers. They had dealt with countless injuries on their team, which allowed you to beat them. So if that don't happen again, and you have to face them again, and they actually take it more seriously, because here's the reality. I said it for every team. You cannot play prevent with the Bears. You just don't do it. Because otherwise they're going to take the fullest advantage of it. Just keep your foot on their neck until the game is over. Because here's the reality. Prevent is how they come back. Yeah. Yes, Caleb Williams is a crappy passing quarterback, which is why you don't take the team seriously. Understandable. But you have to not play prevent. Just play, if you have to, just play defenses that confuse Caleb well enough. Because, again, he's not smart enough to really try to see through it because he can't read a defense to save his life.
And shout out to Caleb Williams, who is also our Madden 27 cover athlete.
Yeah, that's going to go so well.
This will also, the first conversation is the Madden curse going to affect Caleb Williams this year.
I think it will.
And a lot of people say it will.
Because guess what? They did it for Saquon. It's done it for everybody else. Because because a lot, and some people created shorts saying, when it came to like Jason Smith-Njigba, Matthew Stafford, maybe Myles Garrett or somebody, like those guys might be in the cover, right? No, Caleb Williams. Why? What has he done?
Yeah.
I don't care that he made the playoffs. This dude sucked on the football field. Did you guys pay attention to how this guy played? Like that, I think the problem is people still believe this generational crap, and it's like they just don't.
I think it was the fourth quarter generic, the things that he did in the fourth quarter of games that made this a no-brainer move for Madden to put him on.
Remember what I just said. What did all teams do in fourth quarters? They play prevent. They literally every single last one of them played prevent because they didn't think highly of the Bears to come back, and they're like, okay, we can't do that no more in the fourth quarter. Trust me, I think that taught those teams a lesson. Okay, ain't no more prevent in the fourth quarter. We're gonna keep moving on this Bears team till the game is done because it's like I think they knew better after that because that was stupid on these teams' part.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we're gonna see the Madden curse really take effect this season with Caleb Williams and the Bears.
Oh yeah, and that's why I think Chicago is like, yeah, you guys made it to the playoffs this one time. We're not counting on you doing it again. Like it's just not like we ain't counting on that happening again. Come on, like it's the Bears. Y'all gonna screw this up some way. You got lucky this time. Do it again on a more consistent basis, then we can talk. But if you ain't, and you go back to sucking because of the crappy quarterback you have, especially with the Madden curse, not our problem at that point. Not a problem. So,
and I think what we're going to see definitely this year, I need Ben to take not as many. I need Ben to be a systemized coach of not always trying to take a risk with the fourth down conversions. Get your points. You got to get your points. And trust your defense. I think that the biggest thing the Bears have as last year was defense. Their defense played extraordinarily good. You got to trust your defense.
Which was surprising, honestly. Like, their defense has always been good, but that extraordinary, I don't think we're going to see that happen again.
They just got to keep it up.
That's going to be hard when your offense is just the purest of craps. But we'll see if they keep it up. Any other final thoughts you got before we head off?
Yes. I do want to give a big, it's not even a shout out. I just want to acknowledge that today we did lose a legend. Stacey King one of the greatest broadcasters and 3-time NBA champion for the Chicago Bulls, has passed away today. I just want to say my condolences to the family, man, and I want to thank you for being one of the greatest broadcasters we've ever had in a Bulls, for the Bulls community, for Bulls culture. But yeah, man, yeah, that was.
Yeah. So again, rest in peace to Steve King. Hopefully you rest in peace, my good friend, that you are one of the greatest broadcasters of all time. But thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys have to, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Turn on those notifications so you never miss an episode. And we're about to head out, especially with, like I said, the brand new outro that I made. And I hope you guys like it. Make sure you guys check out the previous videos myself and this man has done. And we'll catch you next time. Peace, everybody.
Peace.
Walking through the neon in the middle of the night. Every color hidden different in the pale moonlight. I see the violet bleeding in the shades of deepest blue. A prismatic vision of a world that's feeling new. My heartbeat is syncing with the flashing of the signs, tracing out the movement of these geometric lines. From the infrared heat to the ultraviolet glow, I'm catching every frequency, I'm moving with the flow. There's a rhythm in the static, there's a logic in the noise. Finding my direction through the balance and the poise. It's that spectrum vibe, yeah, we're living in the light. Breaking through the prism, shining beautiful and